Years ago, Beth Wood said to me in a conversation that she thought listening was such a gift. And lately I've been thinking about all the ways that we listen to each other and the effects that it has. There's something really yummy about getting together in a house concert that's pin drop quiet, and the performer has a very loving and receptive audience. There's also the ways we listen can change our minds. You know, how people show up for us depends on our listening, who we see them to be. But today and recently, I've been thinking about this little book Jacob Bronowski wrote in the 50s. It was an MIT lecture called Science and Human Values. And I love this essay because he talks about how art and science are, how they do the same thing. That when somebody creates art or creates some new science, they connect ideas that haven't been connected before in a creative way. And also when we listen, when we're a student of the science or an audience member, that's a creative act too, to connect the dots on these ideas that weren't connected before. And I find Beth Wood music often has me thinking. And today and recently, her song "To Get to Zero," which I love and which I've gone to the trouble of learning, it had a different inflection. We're doing this concert today that's a fundraiser for Color of Change, this social justice organization. And so it has my mind in this place. And the song says, you know, sometimes it's a long, hard climb just to get to zero. And I'm thinking about the different places we start and the privileges some of us have. And I have quite a lot of privilege. And sometimes it's a long, hard climb. It's a lot of work just to get to somebody else's starting point. And I think this pursuit for racial justice and social justice in the wake of slavery's legacy clearly has been a long climb, and we've not all been working to go in the same direction. But right now I feel encouraged with so many people of privilege showing up and using their voices, but also I see us listening. You know, if you haven't had the experience that you feared for your life when you were pulled over for a traffic ticket, you really have been living in a parallel universe, and it's time to listen to the experiences of your brothers and sisters so you can understand really what the state of the country is, separate from your own personal experience. And so the song "To Get to Zero" has been taking on this inflection of applying to the whole country, not just a person's own personal struggle, but starting from a dark place and making a long climb to get to a glorious, beautiful place. And I feel like we're headed there, and I hope we get there. Of course, I have my skepticism about our ability to continue, but we should pursue that. It's been 100 years since the Tulsa massacre. It's been 50 years since the Civil Rights Movement. It's been 30 years since the Rodney King beating. But maybe we're listening in a different way now. So in particular, it was the line in the song that says, "The silence is so heavy I can't breathe," that had me thinking about this song differently. It had me thinking about George Floyd. It also had me thinking about Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous quote where he says, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And I think it's really a time for people with privilege to not be silent, to contribute to the cause, but then also to get silent and listen and learn. So I invite you to hear this song differently the way I have been hearing it lately. And then come to the concert tonight if you'd like, the fundraiser for Color of Change. And if you hear this later after the concert's over, it's recorded, so you can contribute and you can participate later if you like. Okay, so this is Beth Wood's "To Get to Zero." digging for diamonds, searching for gold. Down in the belly of the earth where the light won't go. Silence is so heavy I can't breathe. There's a mile between you up there and me down underneath. So shine a light and throw a rope, 'cause I could use a little hope. I ain't looking for a hero. Sometimes it's a long, hard climb just to get to zero. Scratching the surface, I disappear. Down in the belly of the place where I face my fear. Tethered to my sketchy memory. There's a little bird singing out, won't you set me free? So shine a light and throw a rope, 'cause I could use a little hope. I ain't looking for a hero. Sometimes it's a long, hard climb just to get to zero. When I finally see the sky, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, mercy on my eyes. Wow, that song always gets me.